In Philadelphia, there is a prison that was designed to destroy the human mind. Not with violence. Not with torture. But with silence. For nearly 150 years, thousands of prisoners lived there. Many walked in. But some never truly walked out. Today, people say the prison is still not empty. But how could silence drive a man insane? The prison was called Eastern State Penitentiary. When it opened in 1829, it introduced something the world had never seen before. Total isolation. Each prisoner lived completely alone. No conversations. No contact. No human voice. The creators believed this would force criminals to reflect on their crimes. But the experiment did not create better men. It created something far worse. So what was life really like inside those cells? Each prisoner lived in a stone room barely larger than a closet. A bed. A table. A Bible. And a tiny opening in the ceiling called the Eye of God. It was the only light they ever saw. When prisoners left their cells, guards placed hoods over their heads. They were not allowed to see other inmates. They were not allowed to speak. They were not allowed to exist. But after months of silence, something strange began happening. Some prisoners began whispering to themselves. Others screamed uncontrollably. Some simply sat motionless for hours. Doctors began reporting disturbing psychological changes. Men who entered sane left completely broken. One prison report described prisoners laughing alone in the darkness. Another described inmates crying all night. But the system continued for decades. Until someone important came to see the prison. And what he saw horrified him. In 1842, a famous writer visited the prison. His name was Charles Dickens. He walked through the silent corridors and observed prisoners sitting alone in their cells. After leaving, he wrote something disturbing. He said the isolation was worse than physical torture. He warned that the prison was destroying the human mind. But his warning was ignored. And the experiment continued. Until the prison finally collapsed under its own cruelty. By the early 1900s, the prison was overcrowded. Violence increased. The isolation system had clearly failed. Eventually the prison abandoned the experiment. But the damage had already been done. Thousands of men had lived in total silence. Many had lost their sanity. Finally, in 1971, the prison closed forever. The inmates left. The cells were abandoned. The corridors fell silent. But the silence did not last long. Soon after the prison closed, strange stories began to appear. Security guards reported hearing footsteps in empty hallways. Visitors claimed they heard whispers inside sealed cells. Some said they saw shadows moving along the walls. Others heard someone crying in the isolation wing. Even when the building was completely empty. Was it imagination? Or something else? Today, Eastern State Penitentiary is one of the most famous abandoned prisons in America. Thousands of people visit it every year. But some believe the building remembers everything. Every scream. Every broken mind. Every whisper in the darkness. Because some prisons hold more than prisoners. And some places never truly let people leave. So tell me, would you spend a night there?